Tesla stock is currently up about 0.5% at the time of recording this video, and there is lots of breaking news that you need to know. Tesla stock has also been green 11 days in a row. I think we need to discuss what is coming next for Tesla stock. Elon Musk gave Tesla investors a little bit of a surprise last night. He said the new Optimus design, which will be complete later this year, is something special. And this has been the evolution of Optimus so far, so we'll see what is added. Hallmark's catalog says on X, FSD 12.4.3 is still ping-ponging within the lane too much on highways. Elon Musk responds and says 12.5 will finally combine the city and highway software stacks. So Elon is suggesting things are about to get even better for full self-driving pretty soon. It is also being reported that Tesla raises Model 3 prices across Europe following tariffs and cuts the Model 3 and the Model Y prices in Israel. In some pretty significant news today, Goldman Sachs has raised their Tesla price target to $248 per share from $175 per share. And they say, quote, "Analysts view Tesla as a leader in AI and software technology within the automotive sector, with software and services potentially contributing significantly to Tesla's earnings by 2030. However, they note that achieving a level 3 version of FSD will take more time." Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas has released a new Tesla note today and says, or is titled, "Tesla Energy Worth More Than Tesla Auto." Quote, "Tesla Energy has garnered heightened investor interest over the last few weeks within the context of one, generative AI acceleration, spurring a multi-generational increase in energy demand, and number two, a 2x beat in Q2 Tesla energy storage deployments. With our updated forecast, Tesla Energy is nearly at parity with Tesla's core auto in our SOTP valuation." Adam Jonas goes on to say that Tesla Energy now represents $50 a share versus $36 per share of their about $300 price target on Tesla. A Reddit user says the Tesla Model Y saved their dad's life. Quote, "He caught a flat and was on the side of the road waiting for a tow, walked away unharmed. The driver behind was going 60 to 70 miles per hour and didn't even attempt to brake." And you can see this Model Y is smashed to crap. And apparently the guy that hit this Model Y said that he fell asleep, and that's another good reason why FSD is so important. The original 2011 Tesla Roadster test mule has just gone on sale. It was the development mule for a performance package that was never released to the public. Exposed carbon fiber body, Torox 4-piston front and rear brakes, upgraded differential, and custom ABS tune by Continental. And here are some closer images of this thing. And again, it never made its way onto the roads, so this is one of one. Volkswagen on Tuesday warned it may close the Brussels site of its luxury brand Audi due to a sharp drop in demand for high-end electric cars that has hit Europe's top car maker, forcing it to cut its margin target for the current year. Longtime investor Bill Gross said Tesla is acting like a meme stock, sagging fundamentals, straight up price action, but then there seems to be a new meme stock every other day now. Most are pump and dump. UAW President Shawn Fain is under investigation by a federal watchdog in part over allegations that he ordered a vice president to take action that would benefit Fain's fiancée and her sister, according to a new court filing. Worth mentioning, as Sawyer Merritt says, the two UAW presidents before Shawn Fain were both sentenced to jail, and now Fain is under investigation for corruption. Corruption is systemic there. Elon Musk has beat a $500 million severance suit over mass Twitter layoffs. It is also being reported that General Motors Mexico is partnering with Tesla to build 1,000 charging points in Mexico. The companies intend to stimulate the development of EVs in the country. And we now have final pricing for the Cadillac's all-electric Escalade IQ. You have the lowest priced version at $129,000, the Sport 1 all-wheel drive at $130,490, the Luxury 2 all-wheel drive at $150,000, and the Sport 2 all-wheel drive at almost 151,000. And we have the all-electric Hyundai IonQ 5N that has an engine simulation feature that revs and sounds like a gas engine as you accelerate. Take a listen to this and let me know what you think. Honestly, I think it's pretty cool. I'm not even... For someone that loves the engine sound, that maybe wants an EV, I think that's probably a cool thing. Top ICU doctor hails Tesla's new parental controls that allow owners to limit the speed of the car when their children are behind the wheel, and claims they could prevent the tragic deaths he frequently sees. House Republicans advanced an effort to void the Biden administration's $7,500 EV tax credit. Quote, the Biden administration is sacrificing our economic independence in order to force more Americans to drive an electric vehicle. X Daily News shared this news that I actually caught yesterday from the Newswire that sent Oracle down about 4% at one point, which Oracle's a big company, so a 4% drop on this news was quite crazy. It says Elon Musk, xAI, and Oracle have ended talks on expanding their server rental agreement. Talks broke down due to disagreements over timelines and power supply concerns. xAI has now been building its own AI data center in Memphis, Tennessee. The potential deal was estimated to be worth about $10 billion. Elon Musk responded and says xAI contracted for 24,000 H100s through Oracle and Grok 2 trained on those. Grok 2 is going through fine-tuning and bug fixes, probably ready to release next month. xAI is building the 100,000 H100 system itself for fastest time to completion, aiming to begin training later this month. It will be the most powerful training cluster in the world by a large margin. The reason we decided to do the 100,000 H100 and next major system internally was that our fundamental competitiveness depended on being faster than any other AI company. This is the only way to catch up. Oracle is a great company, and there is another company that shows promise also involved in that OpenAI GB200 cluster. But when our fate depends on being the fastest by far, we must have our own hands on the steering wheel rather than a back seat driver. Prices for lithium iron phosphate LFP battery cells in China fell 51% over the last year and now sits at $54 per kilowatt hour. The average global price for these cells last year was $95 per kilowatt hour, according to Bloomberg. Markets are going higher today. The Dow Jones is up 0.34%, S&P is up 0.46%, the Nasdaq is up 0.59%, and the Russell 2000 is up about 0.5%. At the same time, the VIX is declining by 0.5%. There really is no rhyme or reason why the markets are going higher today. In fact, this is 6 straight days of positive gains for the S&P 500 for no reason at all. This is the seasonally the best period for the markets throughout the year. Like, this is better than the Santa Claus rally. This is better than Thanksgiving. This is better than any other period of the year, right? The first 2 weeks in July. The back half of July tends to be a lot more volatile and not nearly as good. And the way I see it, the higher the markets go, the bigger the disappointment is going to be coming on earnings season. That's just the fact of the matter. Earnings expectations continue to go higher as the economy is weakening, and you're not on a sustainable path. You are going to get a disappointment this earnings season, but just how big of a disappointment will we get? That's really the question. We also have CPI coming out tomorrow, and that will be a main focus for investors. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the next video, along with the expectations that your major banks have for CPI and what Tom Lee and Fundstrat just said about tomorrow. All of that and much more in the next video. Percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average today is up to 42.07%. Still not a very broad-based rally even today. You have 1.26% of stocks breaking above their 50-day moving average, but still markets at all-time highs with only 42% of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average is not good. And you can see most of the gains for the S&P and the NASDAQ today are really concentrated in, yes, your big tech stocks, big surprise. Apple up 1.5%, Nvidia up 2.5%, Google up 0.5%, Meta up over 1%, Microsoft up 0.2%. Amazon's really the only lagger here today, down about 0.65%, and that's probably because Bezos just continues to sell Amazon like every day. If we take a look at option activity today from big money via the interesting flow sentiment over on Ortex, you can see 28 different trades totaling $19.69 million with a positive order value of 94%. Short interest of free float remains unchanged at 3.83%. The dollar amount currently sold short is up from $18.48 billion 3 months ago. That's up 51% to today's number at 27.89 billion. That is a big kick in the ass to the short sellers. That's a lot of losses. Seriously, if you know someone that's short in Tesla, you might want to give them a call and just ask them how they're doing. You have 106.3 million shares that are currently sold short. Cost to borrow fees today at about 5.1%. You do see return shares of 1.55 million, borrowed shares of 31,000. That means on net, it looks like about 1.5 million shares are actually being covered today. Over on StockTwits, sentiment is improving a little bit for Tesla. 1 day ago, yesterday, it was bearish at 27. Today it's bearish at 42, so a little bit of an improvement, but it still looks like retail overall is bearish on Tesla. And I don't think they're bearish on Tesla. I just think retail is probably mad. They missed out on this latest rally. A lot of people sold out of Tesla, were waiting for lower prices or thought the stock was going to go lower, and that just did not happen. Now, message volume today is high at 62, higher than yesterday's number of 57, and the participation ratio today is normal at 54. Google Trends data shows the Cybertruck ticking downwards from 77 to 66. The Model Y's picking up a little bit of momentum, recently going from 25 to 27. The Model 3 still staying at about 24, and the Model S is going from 10 to 11. The Model X has recently went from 8 to 9. Google Trends data for full self-driving remains at 20, which is kind of where we have been for the last couple of weeks, still well above where it was pre the free trial. Tesla continues to run about 4,000 different ads with Google. And global inventories have recently come down quite a bit for all Tesla models. We've seen last quarter, Tesla ran down their inventory by over 30,000 vehicles, so that explains it. But the Model X as well as the Model S sitting at about 2,500 a piece, the Model 3 at about 4,100 in inventory, and the Model Y at about 4,700 vehicles in global inventory. The most recent AI investor sentiment survey that came out July 3rd, which we should be getting another one coming out tomorrow, came in at 41.7% bullish, 32.2% neutral, and 26.1% bearish. Now, as far as Tesla on the MACD, you're sitting at 21, which is kind of insane. The RSI is sitting at 87, so you're definitely a little overextended here. Could you get some consolidation? Of course, that would actually be healthy at this point. Now, if CPI comes in better than expected tomorrow, I would imagine Tesla can even pick up more steam. I went back to look at the last time Tesla had this many green days in a row, and it was this period here where Tesla rallied from about $150 per share to $300 per share. During this period, you had 13 green days in a row. You're currently at 11, so if we break 13, well, technically 14 green days in a row, that would be a new, I believe, recent record for Tesla. I don't think that has happened in a very long time for Tesla, and that could potentially send us even higher. But I think if you are a Tesla stock investor, You should be cautiously optimistic here. You should think a pullback to some degree is coming before July 23rd or August 8th. I believe August 8th is when you get that much larger rally, but to see a little bit of a pullback now would be healthy heading into either one of those catalysts. Tomorrow could give us that pullback if inflation comes in higher than expected, and that's something to be mindful of here. Even, I mean, it's been like 2 years since the S&P has had a 2% drawdown. Eventually that will happen, whether that is from earnings or whether that is from inflation or the Fed. Something will cause a pullback in the not so distant future, in my opinion, over the next month and a half. And that will have some kind of an impact on Tesla. It could happen sooner rather than later, and that is also a potential risk that you should factor into your calculus. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, things look beautiful for Tesla. I mean, let's just be honest, things look fantastic. You can't really pick anything out that looks bad on a technical basis. Besides, it looks so good that eventually that does lead to some kind of consolidation or down move. But other than that, can't really say anything too bad or too negative. So let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comments section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.